The night Kamsi was born, the sky did not behave like the sky. It screamed. Thunder did not roll. It cracked like a whip across the heavens. Lightning did not flash. It tore the darkness open as if something was trying to escape from behind the clouds. In the small village of Umuaka, where life followed the rhythm of the sun and the whisper of ancestral spirits, nothing like it had ever been seen. Women shut their doors. Men tightened their grips on their wooden staffs. Elders gathered in silence, their eyes filled with a fear they refused to name. And in the farthest hut, near the forbidden forest, a woman screamed in labor. Adana. Her cries blended with the storm, rising and falling like a chant no one dared to answer. Then suddenly, silence. The thunder stopped. The wind froze. Even the night seemed to hold its breath. And then, a child cried. But it was not the cry of a newborn. It was deeper, stronger, older. When the midwife stepped outside, her hands trembling, she did not announce a blessing. She whispered, "This child is not ordinary." By morning, the whole village knew. The child had eyes that glowed faintly in the dark. His skin bore strange markings, lines that looked like ancient symbols no one in Umuaka could read. And worst of all, animals would not go near him. Dogs whimpered and ran. Goats broke their ropes trying to escape. Even birds avoided flying over Adana's hut. The elders called a meeting under the Nukwu tree. "This is not a blessing," one said. "This is a warning," another added. But when they sent for the village priest, the oldest man in Umuaka, he shook his head slowly. "I see no evil in the child," he said. "But I see power." That word spread faster than fear. Power. And in a village where survival depended on the unseen forces of the spirit world, power was never taken lightly. So they made a decision. They would not kill the child. They would not banish him. They would watch him, and if he ever became a danger, they would end him. Kamsi grew, but not like other children. At 3, he spoke like one who had lived long before. At 5, he could sit for hours, staring into nothing, as if listening to voices only he could hear. At 7, the first miracle happened. A child had fallen into the river. The current was strong, merciless. The villagers screamed. Men ran. Women cried. But before anyone could act, Kamsi walked calmly to the riverbank. He raised his small hand. And the water stopped. Not slowed. Stopped. Like time itself had obeyed him. The child floated gently to the shore, unharmed. And just like that, the river flowed again. That day, fear turned into something else. Dependence. Because from that moment on, whenever something went wrong, when crops failed, when sickness spread, when storms threatened, they called for Kamsi. But power always demands a price. And Kamsi paid it in loneliness. No child played with him. No mother allowed her son or daughter near him. Even adults avoided looking directly into his eyes. He became both their protector and their curse. Only one person did not fear him. Her name was Zainab. She was not from Umuaka. Her family had settled there years ago, traders from a distant land. Because of this, she was already seen as different. Maybe that was why she saw Kamsi differently too. The first time she approached him, he was sitting alone under the Nukwu tree. "You talk to spirits, don't you?" she asked. Kamsi looked up slowly. "Yes." "Are they scary?" "No." She smiled. "Then neither are you." And just like that, something forbidden began. Zainab became his world. She sat with him, laughed with him, asked him questions no one else dared to. And for the first time in his life, Kamsi smiled. But love in a place ruled by fear is a dangerous thing. The villagers began to whisper, "That girl will bring disaster. He will destroy her. This must stop." Zainab's father warned her, You will not go near that boy again. But love does not listen to fear. It grows stronger because of it. They met in secret, near the forest, by the river, under the moonlight, and as they grew older, their bond deepened into something the village would never accept. One night, Kamsi collapsed. His body trembled violently. His eyes burned brighter than ever before. And when he spoke, it was not his voice. The balance is broken, it said. The child of power must choose love or the village. When he awoke, he remembered everything. And for the first time, he was afraid, because he knew what it meant. His powers were growing, too fast, too strong, and soon, they would demand something irreversible. The elders made their move. They summoned Zainab's father. This must end, they told him. Or we will end it for you. That night, Zainab was locked inside her home. But she escaped. She ran to Kamsi, breathless, terrified. They want to separate us, she said. They want to destroy you. Kamsi looked at her, his eyes filled with something darker than fear. They might not need to. It happened at dawn. A sickness spread suddenly. Children fell ill. Crops began to rot within hours. The sky turned an unnatural shade of red. Panic erupted, and as always, they turned to Kamsi. But this time, something was different. He stood in the center of the village. Silent, still, and then he said, I can stop this. Hope flickered, but I must leave. The silence that followed was heavier than any storm. Because deep down, they all knew, if Kamsi left, their protection would go with him. Zainab stepped forward. I will go with you. Gasps filled the air. No, her father shouted. But she did not move. Kamsi looked at her. You don't understand, he said softly. If you come with me, you can never return. She smiled through tears. I already chose you. For a moment, time stood still. Then the elders spoke. If he leaves, one said, he must never return. And the girl? She is no longer one of us. Kamsi closed his eyes. The voices returned. Louder, stronger. Choose, they demanded. He opened his eyes again. And made the hardest decision of his life. He stepped away from Zainab. I cannot let the village suffer, he said. Her heart shattered. But I will not abandon you either. The ground trembled. The wind howled. And then, Kamsi did something no one expected. He split his power. One half bound to the village. The other, to himself. The pain was unbearable. But when it was over, the sickness vanished. The sky cleared. And Kamsi fell to his knees, weaker, human. The village was saved, but Kamsi was no longer the same. His powers were gone, or at least, most of them. The villagers no longer feared him. But they did not celebrate him either. Because now, he was just a reminder of what they almost lost. Zainab ran to him. You chose both, she whispered. He smiled faintly. Now we can choose each other. Years passed. Kamsi and Zainab left Umuaka. Together. Far from fear. Far from judgment. But stories have a way of growing. And in Umuaka, people began to speak of a legend. Of a child who could command rivers. Who could speak to spirits. Who saved them, even when they rejected him. And sometimes, on quiet nights, when the wind moved strangely through the trees, the elders would whisper, he is still out there, watching, protecting, and somewhere beyond the forests, a man with glowing eyes held the hand of the woman he chose over fear, while the spirits waited. Because his story was not over yet.